how gratifying it is to have that belt in you now, especially in front of you now, especially if you think back to the night where you need Aljamain Sterling in the head and it just seemed like things could never get back on track from there.
You
know, I was personally shocked by that whole skid of going down that road, but this is just a fighter's character. You know, as a fighter, you see when somebody loves what they do, and I want to tell you, I love what I do.
Welcome back to Fight Grid. We're starting with the chaos that erupted the moment Petr Yan shocked the world and shut down Merab Dvalishvili's historic run at UFC 323. Yan walked into the rematch as the underdog, written off by half the division, and walked out reminding everyone why he once ruled bantamweight. He stuffed takedowns that usually break careers, pushed forward from the opening bell, and outworked a man who built his entire identity on outworking others. And once the scorecards were read, Yan didn't hesitate to pour gasoline on the rivalry. When asked about a trilogy, he didn't give a political answer. He didn't talk about unfinished business. He didn't even acknowledge the 1-1 storyline that fans have been begging for. Instead, he delivered the now infamous line, "Merab should get the boys, get into the jacuzzi, think about it, and then we'll see." That one comment detonated across social media. Some called it cold, others called it disrespectful. But everyone agreed on one thing. Yan had zero intention of handing Merab an immediate trilogy. He made it clear he believes he paid for another title shot by taking the long, painful route back through the division. In his words, "It took me too long to get here and to get what's mine." The win didn't just give him momentum, it gave him leverage. A rare position in a division full of killers who usually don't get to negotiate anything.
So if you had to choose, what do you think is the next step? A trilogy with Merab or a fight against Umar? And who do you think is a more dangerous opponent?
Вы же видели бой Мераба с Умаром. Вы видели, как он прошел, как он проходил. Кто более опасен был?
But you saw the fight of Merab versus Umar. You saw the way that fight went. So who's more dangerous?
Они могут провести реванш, и мы посмотрим.
They can rematch, and then we can see what happens.
And for Merab, the loss stung even more because he chose to stand and trade instead of leaning on the suffocating game plan that carried him to 14 straight wins. He admitted afterward he was trying to keep it entertaining, and Yan capitalized on every opening. The reactions were immediate. Analysts calling it seismic, fighters praising Yan's precision, and fans demanding the trilogy fight that Dana White still hasn't committed to booking. But while the world argued, someone else stepped into the conversation, someone who rarely stays quiet when disrespect starts flying toward the people he considers family. Before we move into the next story, make sure you're subscribed to Fight Grid. Daily MMA news, Ilia Topuria jumped into the situation with the force of someone who wasn't just commenting. He was defending blood. Topuria and Merab have been close for years. Behind the scenes, on the mats, in camps, in conversations that never make it online, that bond is real. So when Yan doubled down on his post-fight trash talk during a Russian interview, claiming he broke Merab and that Merab was now in the jacuzzi with his friends, Topuria didn't let it slide. During a live Instagram session, Ilia addressed Merab directly with support, then turned his attention to Yan with a tone that made the entire MMA world pause. "Yan, Merab is like a brother to me. He is my family. Watch your words." "We don't want problems, but make sure you behave yourself." It wasn't a call-out. It wasn't a threat hiding behind humor. It was Ilia, the lightweight champion, reminding Yan that disrespect has limits, and he's willing to step in if those limits are crossed. The tension between these two isn't new. Years ago, there were early talks of a potential matchup when Ilia was running featherweight, and Yan was still feared at bantamweight. Their styles were made for each other: clean boxing, explosive counters, forward pressure. Fans kept it alive as a fantasy matchup, even as their careers moved in different directions. Now, with Yan back in title conversations and Ilia strengthening his grip on lightweight, that old idea suddenly feels alive again. Ilia's message wasn't meant to promote a fight, but it did one thing perfectly. It reminded Yan that after the biggest win of his career in years, he now has eyes on him from every direction, even divisions above. Right as the bantamweight drama exploded, the lightweight division lit up with a completely different kind of chaos, this time fueled by Paddy Pimblett. During UFC 324's seasonal press conference, Paddy didn't just poke Arman Tsarukyan, he unloaded on him. In his interview with Full Send MMA, Paddy tore into Arman's resume, mocking his past wins and brushing off his career highlights like they were meaningless. He claimed Arman didn't really beat Charles Oliveira, said half the fan base thought the decision was wrong, and then questioned Arman's professionalism.
Do you think, like, because of what had happened with the Islam Makhachev fight, like, even though he just beat Dan Hooker, he headlined, he's kind of been, slid out of the way?
It's not even just that, though, is it? You know what I mean? People talk about my last 3 wins. Yeah, it's Tony Ferguson, who was on his way out. But like, Dariush looks about 65. You know what I mean? He's got a full head of grey hair. He beat Dariush. He didn't beat Charles Oliveira. A lot of people didn't think he won that fight. On his way out to the cage, he punched a fan. Got banned.
He didn't stop there. Paddy brought up the weigh-in incident with Dan Hooker, the Makhachev title fight withdrawal. Even the moment Arman punched a fan during a walkout and got temporarily banned, all of it thrown together to paint Arman as unreliable and chaotic. And then he landed the line that spread like wildfire. He nearly ruined another main event. You can see why he's not in that position. It wasn't playful hype. It wasn't selling a future fight. Paddy was taking direct aim at Arman's credibility, his discipline, and the way the UFC views him behind closed doors. Fans were split. Some loved the energy, others thought Paddy had finally bitten off more than he could chew. But one thing was guaranteed. Arman saw every word. Arman wasted zero time. It took minutes for him to jump on X and fire his response, and he didn't bother with jokes or sarcasm. He aimed straight at Paddy's record, at his level of competition, and at the idea that Paddy had somehow earned the right to talk down to anyone. Arman wrote, "I could talk about how you only fight senior citizens once a year or how the UFC keeps giving you the easy road. But I'll say one thing, if you ever find the courage to face me, everyone will finally see you're a fraud." Then he doubled down. "When the door closes, I walk out with my hand raised. You get helped out of the cage." It was a direct threat, clean and sharp without any theatrics. Arman wasn't selling a rivalry. He was cutting through Paddy's persona and making it clear that lightweight contenders aren't buying the Paddy hype.
Do you think you will be next for Ilia Topuria?
It gotta be me. No way they can give Paddy Pimblett fight. Everybody gonna laugh at them.
Do you have any idea what's going on with him right now? He hasn't fought since June and we don't know.
He's trying to find easy fight because right now he cannot go up to the 170 because he didn't defend the title.
The responses online were instant. Fans flooded the comments debating whether Paddy was playing with fire. Some argued Arman was too much, too early. Others said Arman needed to calm down. But the overwhelming reaction was that if these two ever step into the cage, someone's stock is disappearing overnight. Ironically, right after ripping Arman, Paddy switched gears completely when talking about Justin Gaethje. No insults, no theatrics, nothing close to the energy he just used on Tsarukyan. Paddy called Gaethje a legend, said he refused to make the James Vick mistake, and promised to show full respect during the build-up. He even admitted Gaethje is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter, a statement that actually earned Paddy some goodwill from fans. He said he expects a war, 5 rounds of chaos, a chance to prove himself against one of the most violent fighters the UFC has ever produced. No trash talk, just anticipation. Which made his earlier comments about Arman stand out even more. Paddy respects Gaethje because Gaethje is proven. He fires at Arman because he sees a rival climbing toward his spot. The division feels different now. The matchups are louder, the rivalries are sharper, and it's clear Paddy is playing the game with intention, choosing who to provoke and who to praise. While those storylines dominated social media, the post-fight world of UFC 323 kept unfolding across every division. Dana White addressed the fallout from the bantamweight title shakeup, praised both Yan and Merab for delivering one of the most high-level fights of the year, and admitted he and Merab didn't always get along, but he respects the hell out of him now. The damage Merab absorbed had him rushed to the hospital with his team, and even though he vowed to return stronger, everyone could see the toll that 5 rounds of Yan's bodywork had taken. Yan's defensive performance, stopping 27 of 29 takedowns, was called one of the greatest anti-wrestling showcases in UFC history. Analysts said the version of Yan that fought that night looked like the man who dominated the division before losing the belt to Aljamain Sterling. Dana didn't commit to a trilogy. He made it clear the division is moving, not freezing. Meanwhile, Henry Cejudo warned Tom Aspinall after Tom suggested Dana downplayed his eye injury. Cejudo's message was simple. The boss controls bookings, so be careful what you say. Dana later clarified the misunderstanding, saying he was only repeating information he'd been given and wasn't disrespecting Tom in any way. On top of that, Dana confirmed Arman Tsarukyan is nowhere near a title shot right now. He said Arman had his opportunity and lost it in a way that set him back. Numbers don't matter. He needs more wins. Then the attention shifted to the chaos surrounding Dillon Danis. After the MSG brawl where he was jumped by multiple Dagestani fighters, Logan Paul claimed on-stream that Danis is gearing up to sue both the UFC and Madison Square Garden. Logan even said Danis could win millions because the footage clearly shows him getting attacked and because the injuries forced him out of his Misfits fight. Danis is banned from all future UFC events, and while he keeps begging to be signed, that door is basically locked unless something dramatic changes. And finally, the flyweight division had its own shock. Joshua Van became the new UFC champion after Pantoja's arm blew out just 26 seconds into the fight. Joe Rogan initially thought it was an elbow break. Dana later revealed it was actually a shoulder dislocation. Twitter doctors speculated about fractures, ligament damage, and long recovery timelines. Pantoja posted from the hospital, thanking fans, saying he felt better than ever walking into that cage, and insisting he'll come back to reclaim his belt. He even said it might have been Joshua's destiny to win that night. Joshua Van didn't celebrate the injury. He said he'd run it back the moment Pantoja heals, respectful, calm, ready for whatever's next. And with that, the UFC landscape shifts again, rivalries deepening, new champions rising, and lawsuits possibly incoming. Thanks for watching Fight Grid. We'll see you in the next one.